I don't think I'm alone when I say that I would like to see George Bush impeached. After all, the Republicans did try to impeach Bill Clinton, and they were successful in a lot of ways. If you don't already know, Newt Gingrich, who was one of Clinton's biggest opponents during that fiasco in the later years of the Clinton administration, Newt Gingrich had an affair, questioning the ethics and morality of Bill Clinton, and then having an affair yourself. Of course, Newt Gingrich said it isn't the same. So I think that makes Newt a hypocrite. But nonetheless, I think George Bush should be impeached, and I think that whenever you look at all of the mistakes and all of the really bad things that his administration has done, I think you'll come to the same conclusion. And it's not just the war in Iraq. The war in Iraq is just one thing. It's the biggest foreign policy disaster in American history. It's been a complete waste of time and money, a waste of life for the soldiers involved, more than 3,000 of whom have died over the last several years that this has gone on. And then George Bush had the goal to essentially tell Congress that if they voted to cut off funding for the war, which he would veto, but that this represented no concern for the troops. And I found that very offensive, because George Bush let several military hospitals fall into disarray, like Walter Reed, which is the most notorious example. So he doesn't really take care of the troops either. You can find his response to Hurricane Katrina, which was belated to say the least and slow. The lethargy exhibited by FEMA, which is an organization that should be ready to handle disasters of that magnitude. But he put in an incompetent lackey by the name of Mike Brown, who has since left, thank goodness. We also have the way in which he sort of soiled America's reputation in the Middle East and around the world by going after things unilaterally, not really consulting the international community or even the UN. Everybody liked Bill Clinton, who traveled extensively around the world and had a lot of friends. George Bush's only real ally is Tony Blair, who's leaving office this year. So after Blair, I don't think he'll have any friends anywhere. Impeachment is a very serious issue. I think Richard Nixon would have and should have been impeached had he not resigned, because of the Watergate scandal, as well as a secret bombing campaign in Cambodia, which further destabilized that country and brought the Khmer Rouge to power, and they would go on to kill about 2 million Cambodians by the end of the 1970s. Andrew Johnson was impeached because Congress basically didn't like him, and they found something called the Tenure of Office Act, which he supposedly violated by firing the Secretary of War that Lincoln had appointed. Johnson, I don't think, really deserved to be impeached. Neither did Clinton. Nixon I would have impeached, and I would also impeach Bush and everybody else in his whole crooked administration. Cheney, Rumsfeld he got rid of, but a little too late. I'd get rid of Rice. I'd get rid of Wolfowitz and Pearl and all these other neoconservatives who basically told him what to do and given him terrible advice. I would also clear out the CIA and all the people who gave really bad intelligence. I don't really know how anybody else feels about this. Usually, whenever you watch Fox News, and I do so from time to time, a lot of conservatives on that network don't really understand it when people say, well, why do you want Bush to be impeached? I think it's a fairly obvious question. I don't think an administration has proven to be this incompetent in the history of the presidency. And there have been a lot of bad, lousy presidents like Grant and Andrew Jackson, Warren G. Harding. There have been some whose administrations haven't really done much of anything, like Calvin Coolidge. There have been some presidents who've been remarkable, like FDR, like Jefferson, like Madison, like Monroe, like Clinton. I would even put Ronald Reagan in that category, even though, as I've said before, I'm neither a Republican nor a Democrat. But I've liked presidents from both parties. So I think George Bush should be impeached. I don't know if that's a popular view or not, but it's how I feel. And he'll be out of office in another year. I think he's obviously not going to clean up the mess he made in Iraq. So impeachment seems like the best solution. But I don't know. I don't think it will happen, as it happened to Clinton. But that's more or less it.